Evening. There's mild relief coming for motorists. The government has just announced it'll slash fuel taxes by 25 cents a litre from midnight tonight. It comes as the Prime Minister faces increasing pressure to fix our cost of living crisis. Here's political editor Jenna Lynch.
The painful petrol bill. How much is yours?
It was about $120 a diesel.
It cost me about $149 full up now with diesel. When it used to cost me about 2 years ago about $75 to fill up.
$200?
Yes, you heard him right, $200. It's a tough time to fill the tank.
Very expensive. Pretty painful, but it's what it is.
Yeah, it's insane, not just for the Uber driver, for everyone.
And the government knows it.
We are in the midst of a global energy crisis.
A crisis requiring urgent action. From 11:59 tonight, the government is cutting fuel tax by 25 cents a litre. Petrol companies will be subject to extra scrutiny to make sure they pass this saving on to consumers. So if you take into account the GST savings too, when you fill up a Suzuki Swift 37-litre tank, you'll save about $10.60. A Mitsubishi Outlander, a 63-litre tank, you'll save $18.11.
In this unprecedented move, the reduction of 25 cents a litre is us making sure that we are responding quickly to the pain at the pump.
Definitely rate that. 10 out of 10.
It would make a difference, for sure.
Consumers stoked with anything at this point, but the opposition underwhelmed.
Frankly, they don't address the wider cost of living crisis that Kiwis are experiencing across the country.
Petrol taxes are up 41 cents a litre under Labor. 25 cents is a trim, not a cut.
It's been hard enough to predict the impact of a pandemic, let alone the impact of a war on energy prices. So this is something that we can do quickly now.
The move is temporary. The removal of tax will only last 3 months and it comes at a cost of $350 million. For April, May and June, public transport fees will also be halved, costing a further $25 to $40 million. The tax they're slashing is the one ring-fenced for the Land Transport Fund. It pays for our roads, but the government will top up that fund instead to make sure no infrastructure projects are impacted.
We're particularly pleased that it doesn't affect the National Transport Fund, and so those roading projects that would have been planned to go ahead will still go ahead.
After a week of pressure over pump prices and calls to combat the ever-climbing cost of living, or even just call it what it is.
So is it a crisis?
Oh, I wouldn't describe it that way.
Okay.
There is an impact that people are feeling, undeniably, but I would not describe it in that way.
The Prime Minister finally dropping the C-bomb today.
This represents a crisis for many families, absolutely.
Conceding it is crisis time.
It's taken you so long to admit we have a cost of living crisis.
I've always acknowledged that families have been experiencing pain as a result of the changes to the cost of living.
And in a crisis, you must act.
Well, kia ora, Jenna. So how soon will the prices drop?
Yeah, officially from midnight tonight, but Mobil has already released a statement saying that it will drop prices by 25 cents immediately. While 25 cents will only bring prices back from astronomical down to extraordinary, this was quick action from the government, quick action that they're able to afford by raiding the leftover money that we no longer need out of the MIQ kitty. Exorbitant petrol prices are not the government's fault, but they are the government's problem. In times of crisis, people look for someone to blame and they look for someone to fix things. Both of those jobs are the government's, and the government has been under increasing pressure. This tax cut sends an important signal to voters that they understand the pain that they are feeling at the pump, even if it was at least partly to limit the political damage they're inflicting upon themselves.
Political editor Jenna Lynch, Tēnā koe.